All right, good morning, everybody. An early morning edition of Aviator Hockey we have this morning. A couple of games today. Aviators taking on Watford City here in the morning game, and then the afternoon 1:30 start. That'll be against the North Stars from Grafton Park Rivers. So we got a couple of games we'll be airing today. Both will be right here on the Rydell rink in Grand Forks. I believe the Aviators have their full lineup. Don't think anybody's out or traveling for the holidays, so. We got about 4 minutes or so left of warm-ups here, so hopefully we'll get a good idea if the boys and girls are awake or we're going to have a little bit of a rough start here to the morning. Don't know much about this Watford City team. Tried to look up the standings for the western side of the state. They didn't really have much updated, unless all those teams have only played 1 or 2 games for league play. But we do have to play these western teams. I think we end up playing them all once, or at least the majority of them once. And then everybody in the east you have to play twice, so we'll just have to play Watford once, and Williston will be out here at some point. Minot, Bismarck, or them teams as well. These are the final 2 games, I believe. I think next weekend's now open. Aviators will be headed up to Winnipeg New Year's Day for a game, and then staying up there the next 3 days for a tournament there in Winnipeg. So that should be fun for everybody here. Nice facility they get to play in. So. Just under 2 minutes to play here. We'll see if, I know Coach did a little bit of movement to the lines, so we'll have to see what they finalized as the 3 forward lines. Not sure if they made any changes at D, if they're going to try to keep the same partners together as they had or whatnot. Oh, about 45 seconds. We'll get the pucks picked up. Teams will gather around their goaltenders or the benches one more time. We'll get this game underway. All right, warm-ups are done. We'll get pucks picked up. So it looks like we're going to see Dom starting in net for the Aviators. We'll more than likely see Blake then this afternoon. And probably the more important East Region league game as we take on Grafton Park River. All right, almost ready here. Both teams gathering around their goaltenders in the corner. Teams will head to the benches. We'll get our starting five out there. Look like we'll be starting off with Seffi's line. She's centering Owen Berg and Luke Nicholson, Charlie Miedema, and Benson on defense. Puck is down. We are underway. Watford City gets control. They dump it down the Aviators' end. Lively bounce off the backboards, comes out in front. Sent up the wall, gets it to Berg. Berg stick handling around a couple players. Feeds one through the middle, gets it up to Nicholson. Bumped off of his stick. Watford City regains control. They send it back towards the Aviators' end and dump it down in. Behind the net, picked up by Benson. Sent up the wall to Luke. Luke over to Seffi. Seffi through the middle. Dumps it in as she gets to the red line. She'll chase after it down in the corner. Watford City player gets there first. Dumps it up the wall. This one will come out in the neutral zone. Watford City with some speed through the neutral zone. Working on Green. Shots sent on. Glove by Dom. He holds on. And we'll get a face off in the Aviators' end. So just 45 seconds in. Some fast-paced hockey here to start the morning. It'll be the Fiala line out there with Blasky. It looks like Mason Fargo now on that top line. Shots in on from the point, goes well wide. Henderson and Green out there. Here's Henderson down the near side, brings it into the Watford end. Cuts it to the middle, trying to get a shot off. It comes loose to Fiala behind the net. Fiala spins, fires one, brings around to the top. Easton Green sending it down the wall, but Watford City picks that off, and out they come. Watford City going D to D, works it through the middle to the far side, all the way into the Aviators' end, picked up by Green. Green chips and goes up the boards. Not out, though. Comes loose, over to Mason Fargo, trying to get up to Fiala. Fiala stops at the blue line, gets a shot off. Goaltender kicks that into the corner, picked up by Blasky, pushes it down low for Fargo, back to Blasky. Picked up by Watford, though. They feed it out to the middle, stolen away by Benson. He'll turn and bring this one in as the forwards go for a change. Try to cut that one to the middle. Chipped and out of play there as it went off the Jace Kulak's stick. Looks like we're going to get a face-off down here in the Watford City end. Almost 2 minutes played here, still 0-0. Looks like Wyatt's line will come out. He's got Jordy and Jace Kulak with him. Here's Wyatt in the corner. Tries to feed it out front to Jace. Stuffed by the Watford defense. They try to chip one out. Looks like they'll get control. They'll come through the middle here. Pass a little off the mark, arm up. And we get an icing call here on Watford City. Well, both teams seem in a wake here. Didn't know if we were going to have a slow start. Seems like the pace is pretty high to start the morning. Face off, one back by Watford City. They go behind their own net. Try to work it through the middle. Jordy stuffs that one. Watford still trying to work this one out. They'll bring it in the neutral zone. Over the red line, shot sent in. Dom blockers that one into the corner. Picked up by Watford. They go behind the net. Shower defending. Knocking the puck away. Picked up by Miedema. Miedema goes down. Watford City gets control. They feed it out to the point. Shot through traffic. That one rises up and over the net. Picked up by Kulak. He chips one out. Slips through one defenseman. Wyatt trying to steal it, but Watford keeps control, but stolen away by Kulak. Down the far side. Had it poked away from him. Watford regains control. They send it up the wall. Comes out. Jumps over Henderson's stick. Miedema has to retreat in his own zone. He bumps one lightly off the glass. Gets it up to Henderson. Henderson skates this one forward. Down the right side. Shot sent on. That one whistled right off the side of the net. Maybe he got a little bit of the post. Pass through the middle here by Watford. All the way down. I want to go for icing. We'll reset back down in the Watford City end. So 13 and a half minutes to go. Still 0-0. Shots in favor of Watford City. 2-1. Seffi's line back out there. Nicholson will go after this in the corner. Seffi will grab it up on the sidewall. Backhands one out to Benson. Benson shots in on low. Misses. Short side here. Watford picks it up, but Berg keeps in the zone for the moment, but Watford able to get it back out into the neutral zone. Now into the Aviators end. High slot. Shot sent on. Blocked away by Dom. Into the corner. Seffi gets checked from behind. Bad. Arm goes up. Seffi with control. Good to see her back on her skates. Sends it through the middle. Gets to Blasky. Blasky lost control. Watford City touches the puck. And the Aviators will go on the power play. I'm assuming it's just a 2-minute. We got quite the reaction from the crowd. But I don't think we're going to get anything extra here. We're just waiting for the penalty to be put up on the board. There we go. Penalty's up on the board. Puck is down. Power play for the Aviators. Jackson takes a shot. That goes off. And we'll get a face off in the same dot again. So Mason Fiala's line comes out. He's got Mason Fargo to his right. Ryder Blasky to his left. Ryder with it now. Hands it to Daxon. Daxon shot on. Sent through traffic. Picked up by Mason Fiala. Hands it off to Daxon. Shot sent on. That one gets blocked. Jace catches the edge. Here's a breakaway for Watford City. Big save there by Dom. Gets a leg on that one. Holds on. And we'll get a face off. So short-handed opportunity there for Watford City. On a breakaway, Dom sticks the leg out, stuffs it though. Picked up by Henderson in his own zone. Minute 30 still left on the power play. Over to Blasky. Blasky back to Henderson. Henderson skates it down, hands it off for Mason Fargo. Fargo shots in on right into the belly of the goalie. He holds on, and we'll get a face-up. So still a minute 28 to go here on the power play for the Aviators. Mason Fiala to take the face-off. Push forward, shots in on. Mason Fargo trying to get a tip on that, couldn't quite touch it. Sent back to the blue line. Back down into the Aviators' end. Misplayed there a little bit. Down goes Easton Green, rough into the boards, and another arm goes up, so a 5-on-3 opportunity here for the Aviators for the next minute 9. As Easton Green got twisted up and sent into the boards wrong, but he's up and moving around, so good to see. So minute 9 still left on the original penalty. 2 more minutes put up on the board. And a 5-on-3 opportunity here for the Aviators. Looks like it'll be wide by Caden Yana and Jordy Shower. Miedema and Benson on defense. Face off, one back by Watford. They send it up the wall. It comes to Benson at the point. Benson works it to the middle. Feeds it over to Miedema. Miedema tries to send one all the way over to Jordy, but knocked out of the air by a Watford City player, forcing the Aviators to regroup. Shower drops it off for Bye. Bye feeds it over to Miedema. Miedema works it in back door, trying to find Shower, and he puts it in the back of the net. Nice little play there. Miedema finding Shower, cutting to the net on the backside. Shower caught it, didn't try to tip it, worked it to his backhand and was able to poke it on the short side of the net to give the Aviators a 1-0 lead. So a 5-on-3 power play goal there for the Aviators. They will stay on the power play for the next minute and 36 seconds. One back by the Aviators. Going D to D. Benson to the far side finds Yana. Yana sends one towards the net into the near side corner. Chipped out by Watford City. Comes to Charlie at center ice. He works it to the near side. Backhands one over. Trying to find Yana. Yana pushes it towards the net. Bouncing puck comes out front. Here's another opportunity. Jordy with an almost identical opportunity there to score his second goal of the game. It would have been almost exact same goal. Nice job by Benson to keep that one in. Here's Yana. Works it off the sidewall. Feeds it to the middle. Gets it to Miedema. Miedema shot through traffic right into the belly of the goalie, though. Holds on. And we'll get a face-off. So 54 seconds still to go here on the power play. 10:59 remaining in the first period. Aviators lead 1-0. Seffi's line comes out. She's got Nicholson and Berg with her. Sent over to the wall. Berg tied up along the wall. Puck comes loose. Watford City has control. They'll skate this one down to the Aviators' end. Dax and then Jace back defending on that one. We'll get a face-off here in the Aviators' end. Seffi will take the face-off again. Tied up at the dot. She loses an edge. Ties up the player along the wall. Now it's sent behind the net, picked up by Daxon. He's going to skate this one forward. Chips it up the wall, chases after it. Down the corner, Watford gets control. They ring it around to the far side. That one's going to come out in the neutral zone. Seffi will come back to pick it up at her own blue line. Turns, sees some space, skates this one forward. Down the right side, works it to the middle. Shot set on through traffic. Goaltender pushes it away. Picked up by Watford once again. They try to work this one out. Berg holds it at the line, but it does come out in the neutral zone. They dump it down the ice. Dom lets it go, and that'll go for icing. So an offensive zone face-off here for the Aviators. Only 1 second to go in the power play. So they're going to have to keep an eye on the guy leaving the box here, especially if Watford wins this face-off. Tied up, though, along the wall here. Aviators trying to keep this in. Look like Watford will bring this right onto the neutral zone. Down the near side. Mason Fargo trying to steal that one away. Backhand up the wall here by Watford. They'll keep it in, push it back down low. Easton Green defending along the wall there, bouncing puck out to the blue line. It'll be Fiala that gets out in the neutral zone, but Watford turns it right back in, sending a shot in on Dom, bouncing puck coming right back out front. Opportunity for Watford, but nicely done by Mason Fiala. Come back and help out his goaltender there. Fiala with it, sends it up the wall, trying to get this one out. Watford with some extended zone time. not getting a lot of grade A chances. Nice job by Henderson to dump that one all the way down. Went off a Watford stick, so no icing. Just over 9 minutes to play here in the first period. Aviators leading 1-0. Fargo sends one through the middle. Finds Fiala. Fiala takes a shot. Gloved on by the goaltender, though. And we'll get a face-off. So shots now showing in favor of the Aviators, 7-6. They lead 1-0 on the scoreboard. We got just under 9 minutes to play. Gianna takes it behind the net, trying to slip it short side. Knocked away from him. Race this one. Wyatt keeps it in the zone for the moment, but Watford's able to bring it out in the neutral zone. Comes to Benson. Benson through the middle, trying to find Yana. Watford turns right back to the Aviators end, picked up by Miedema. Miedema feeds it over to Benson. Benson through the middle. Finds Yana, sends a shot in. Near side corner, Watford City gets on it first. They ring it around behind the back of the net. Aviators forcing Watford down low here. Stealing this puck away. Picked up by Yana. Backhands one off a skate. That'll come out. Watford City working on Benson and Charlie. Working to the far side. Shots it on. Glove save there by Dom. Couldn't quite hold on to that one. Charlie picks it up. Feeds it up to Wyatt. Wyatt through the middle. Finds Yana in front of his bench. Yana chips it down. The arm goes up. We get an icing call. The Aviators sending out full new line. Looks like it'll be Seffi, Berg, and Luke. Kulak and Norby on defense. Seffi take the face off. Picked up by Daxon. Skates this one forward. Not out though. Kulak up to Nicholson off to his skate out in the neutral zone. Watford stretches it to the far side. Defended nicely there by Seffi. Berg trying to get something going here. Didn't quite get a hold on the puck there as Watford turns it back into the Aviators' end. Working on Kulak. Kulak loses an edge. Sent through the middle. That one goes all the way through. Picked up by Berg. Feeds it through the middle. That one will come out in the neutral zone. Watford City regains control though. Watford cuts it to the middle. Shots it on. Whistles above the net. Watford gets on it first though in the zone. They seem to have a little more jump than the Aviators at the moment. Seffi tries to skate this one out. Peels away from one man. Now brings it over to the near side with some speed into the zone. Slows things down along the wall. Tried to feed it back for Luke. Luke pushes it down low. Gets to Berg. Watford City gets control though. They'll work this one up the far side as the defense is changing. Easton Green and Henderson out there now for the Aviators. Picked up here by Henderson. Henderson sends one to the near side. That'll come all the way to Blasky. Jumped over his stick. Watford City will get control in their own zone. Puck out in the middle. Watford City brings it in. Shot sent on through traffic. Gloved on. Held there by Dom. And we'll get a face off in the Aviators' end. So 6 minutes, 17 seconds to go here. First period. Aviators lead 1-0. Mason Fiala's line out there for the Aviators. One back by Watford. They send it to the point. D to D. One-timer sent on. Whiffed on. Down into the corner. Picked up by Henderson. Henderson works it to the far side. Taken away here by Watford. They send it to the backside. Good shot sent on there, but even better blocked by Nick Henderson as he went down on a knee and caught that one with the back of the leg, I believe. Puck got sent up into the netting, so we'll get a face off. Over here. Looks like on the near side of the Aviators' end. Sent to the wall, picked up by Henderson. Peels away from one Watford City player. Goes behind his net. Sends it up the wall to Blasky. Blasky has to retreat a little bit. Sends one through the middle. That come off the boards right up to Fiala. Fiala brings it down the right side, down into the corner. Gets it knocked off his stick, slows up, chips it up the wall. Comes up to the point where Blasky will try to hold it, but it looks like it'll come out down into the Aviators' end. Aviators did a nice job of back checking, helping out their defenseman here. Picked up here by Blackie. 1-on-3. Brings it in, just shoots one on. Tries to get his own rebound. Puck comes through everybody here, but picked up by Miedema. Miedema feeds it down to the corner to Blasky. Blasky in the middle trying to find Fargo. Fargo tied up. Blasky gets it back. Down the short side. Shot sent on. Goaltender made the save. Fargo in the corner. Pushes it down below the goal line. Fiala going for a change, so Watford City able to chip this one out into the neutral zone. Now down in the Aviators' end. 2-on-1. Good stick there by Charlie Miedema, stopping that 2-on-1 pass. Puck behind the net, picked up by Benson. Backhands one up to Caden Yana. Gives it back to Benson. Benson through the middle. He'll skate this one forward. Brings it on the right side. Shots in onto traffic. Rises up and over the net. Shower trying to get it. Here's Yana from the point. Shot sent on. That one whistles over the top of the net. Wyatt from the point. Dumps it down into the corner. Gets it down to Jordy. Or actually Caden. Caden trying to steal this one away along the boards. Looks like Watford will get it out in the neutral zone. Pass sent forward. Arm goes up. Icing called. And we'll head back down into the Watford City end. 4:15 remaining first period. Aviators leading 1-0. Both teams getting certain times where they spend a lot of time in each other's offensive zones. The amount of time these teams have been in the offensive zone on some of these extended periods, you'd think it would be more than 1-0 game, but that's where we stand right now with about 4 minutes to play. Here's a turnover. Watford City steals this one away in the offensive zone. Shot sent on, goes off a skate, picked up by Shower. Shower feeds it through the middle, trying to find Wyatt on the near side. A little bit too far for him. Pass through the middle. Watford City works it to the near side. Shot sent on, big kick out rebound there by Dom, comes right to Jordy. Jordy trying to get around the defenseman. Watford City turns it right back in. Shots in on, right into the glove of Dom, holds on, and we'll get a face-off. So 3:34 remaining first period. Shots showing now in favor of Watford, 10-7. But they do trail on the scoreboard 1-0 to these Aviators. It'll be Seffi's line. Nicholson and Berg out there with her. Jackson and Chase, the defenseman. Tied up in the corner. Picked up by Chase. He'll skate this one forward. Works it to the middle. Hands it off to Berg. Berg cuts it into the corner. Gets checked hard into the boards. Gets shoved down from behind again. Sent up the wall. Easton Green steps up trying to steal this one away, but an opportunity here for Watford City. Nicely defended there by Kulak. Watford City out to the point. Shot set on, goes off a skate and wide. Seffi doing a nice job of stealing that puck away in the corner here. Sent up the wall, gets to Nicholson. Stolen away from him. Watford City keeps it down low. Picked up by Seffi. She dumps one out. Arm goes up. And we'll get an icing call again on the Aviators. So just 2:39 remaining here. Face-off coming in the defensive zone for the Aviators. They lead on the scoreboard 1-0. It'll be the Fiala line out for Grand Forks. He's got Blasky and Mason Fargo out with him. Looks like it'll be Greener and Henderson on defense. Knocked away here by Fargo. 2-on-1 opportunity for the Aviators. Fargo down the right side. Shot sent on. Tried to go short side on the goaltender. Goaltender didn't glove it cleanly, but did keep it out of the back of the net. And we get a face-off here in the Watford end. Fiala to take the face-off. Fargo looking frustrated. Probably would have got his own rebound. Excuse me. If he had not got caught on that. Another opportunity there for Fargo. Blocked away by the goaltender. Watford chips this one out. They'll be able to bring it out into the neutral zone. Fiala doing a nice job of getting back. Henderson defending on the near side. Shots in on Dom. Kicks into the corner. Picked up by Henderson. Watford steals this one away. Bouncing puck comes out front. Comes to Fargo. Fargo tries to feed it to Blasky. Blasky backhands it in. Arm goes up though. We'll get an icing call here on the Aviators once again. So a minute 57 to play here in this first period. Wyatt By's line comes out. Caden Yana and Jordy Shower with him. Miedema and Benson on defense. This one pushed towards the net, picked up by Jordy. Jordy tries to work it up the wall. It comes out into the neutral zone here. Watford goes D to D. Caden Yana putting the pressure on. Watford trying to chip this one up the wall. Comes to Benson. He sends a shot on, snaps the kid's stick right in half. Miedema chases this one down behind his own net. Feeds it back to Benson. Benson sends one off the wall over to Charlie. Charlie through the middle. Finds Wyatt on this backside. But Wyatt up to Caden. Stolen away, and they send this one all the way down for an icing here with a minute 15 to play in the first period. Oh, face off on the near side here in the zone. Be wide to take the face off. Face off one back comes to Caden. Caden spins away, hands it off to Benson. Benson works it in. Shot sent out through traffic, gets blocked, doesn't make it all the way to the net. Picked up by Jordy. Bouncing puck comes down the neutral zone, picked up by Benson. Watford City's able to force the turnover. Shot sent on through traffic, whistles just by the goalpost. Comes out of the point, shot sent on through traffic once again, but right into the belly of Dom. He holds on and we'll get a face-off. 51 seconds to play here, first period. 1-0 lead for the Aviators. It'll be Seffi's lineup for the Aviators here. This one comes to the wall to Dax. Pushed off the puck. Forced over to the near side, picked up by Nicholson. Stolen away by Watford City. They work it down into the corner. Now to the point. Defenseman walks it in, shots it on, glove by Dom. He holds on, we'll get a face-off on the near side here in the Aviators' end. There's 37 seconds left to go here, first period. Seffi takes the face-off, pushed over to the wall, comes to Kulak. He gets hooked up, Seffi comes in, digs it out. She goes behind her net, will fix it, sends it up to Nicholson on the near side. Nicholson trying to bring that one in the zone, gets swallowed up by a couple of Watford City players. End up bringing it in off sides. We'll get a face-off here just outside the Watford end with about 25 seconds to play. Face-off, one back by Watford into their own end. They go D to D. Behind the net, Berg trying to steal it away. Chipped out. Watford City will get control here, working on Kulak. Kulak forces him to the outside. Knocked away. Watford still with control, though. They have it behind the net. They try to send it back door, short side. Can't send on. Another opportunity. It looks like Dom dove on it. Gets the whistle. That was a golden opportunity there for Watford City. Wide open net on the back door off a shot off of skate, but nicely defended by one of the Aviators. Little clock problems there for the box workers today, but that is the end of the first period. Still 1-0 lead for the Aviators. They trail in the shot department 15-10. Watford holds the lead in that category, but obviously the Aviators happy to be leading this game 1-0. Lots of action in that first period. Back and forth. Pace seemed to be there. A few things the Aviators can clean up, and giving up a few odd man rushes. Putting themselves in position to allow those odd man rushes. So clean that up a little bit. But Aviators doing a nice job of defending, keeping shots mainly from out, allowing their goaltender to see it. Also helping them out on rebounds or busted plays, tying up sticks out front. So Aviators keep that up. They should do well in this game. Obviously, they're going to need to find a way to get some more in-tight shots as well on this goaltender. He's going to make a lot of the saves from far out as long as you can see him. But we'll see what kind of energy the Aviators bring here when they come out for their second period. All right, both teams ready to go here. Sending out their starting five. Looks like it'll be Wyatt By's line. He'll have Shower to his right, Yana to his left, Benson and Charlie at defense. Face off down. Watford City pushes it toward the Aviators line. D to D. Benson sends one through the middle. That one gets taken away by Watford. They work it into the zone. Down into the corner. This one will ring around behind the net. Benson trying to steal this one away. It looks like Watford will get control. They feed one out to the point. They work a D to D. One-timer gets partially blocked right off the get-go. Stuff attempt here. Now I'm trying to get a cover on it. Looks like he will get a whistle. And we'll get a face-off, I believe, on the far side here in the Aviators' end. So it looks like Jordy will take the face-off. As Benson pushes this one forward, trying to poke it out. Comes up to Wyatt. 3-on-1 if they hurry. Wyatt on the far side. Drops it off for Benson. Benson fires one on. That goes off the defenseman's shin pad. Hard shot there by Charlie. Goes off the goaltender's glove. Picked up by Shower. Shower sends one on. Chipped out front. Yana was planted there all alone. This one nicely fed out by Wyatt. Gets over to Charlie. Charlie sends it over to Benson. Benson shots it on. Bouncing off a body out front. Shower feeds it out to Benson. Benson lines it up. Shots it on. Tipped out front. Goaltender makes a big save to keep that one out of the net. Watford trying to get this one out. Aviators all over him at the moment. Wyatt slides down trying to steal this puck away. Puck comes loose. Charlie slides up. He'll keep it in the zone. Watford able to chip it out. Comes all the way down to the Aviators' end. Picked up by Benson. He feeds it up to Blasky. Tipped off of his stick though. Blasky gets it back. Brings it in the zone. Shot sent on. That went off the inside leg of the defender and wide. Aviators going for a change. Here's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Easton Green, the lone man back. Sliding down. Shot sent on. Dom gets a pad on that one. Holds on. And we'll get a whistle here. 15-15 to play in the second period. Aviators still leading 1-0. Anderson pushes that one up the wall. Centering pass goes off the side of the net, comes out to the point. Sent through traffic. Dom made a save on that one. We get a whistle here. Looks like the net was off. Not sure what they're calling here. No idea what they called there. I don't know if the net came off and they forced it out or not really sure. Either way, face off one back by the Aviators. Blasky goes behind his own net. Sends one to the near side. That goes off a Fargo skate. Bounces up in the air. Watford City keeps it in. Bouncing puck in the slot here. Comes loose to Fiala. Fiala sends it up the wall. Comes up to the point. Watford City turns it back down. But chipped out into the central ice, or neutral ice here, I should say, by Blasky. Picked up by Watford. Sent off the wall, sent into the Aviators' end, picked up by Henderson. He spins away from one Watford City player. Lost the puck on the next. Shot sent on. Dom gets a pad on that one, holds on, and we're going to face off. 14:21 remaining here in the second period. Aviators with a 1-0 lead. Seffi's line will come out for the Aviators. Looks like with Nicholson and Berg. Kulak and Norby on defense. One to the sidewall. They send it back to the point. Down the sidewall again, taken away by Kulak. He'll skate this one forward down the far side. Gets it over the blue line. Tried to make a move on the defense and lost the handle. Sends it behind the net, hits Berg. Berg trying to get it back to him. Shoved against the net. It'll come out to Kulak at the point. He'll send a shot on through traffic. Finds the top corner. And the Aviators lead 2-0. An absolute rocket of a shot from the point by Kulak. Somehow made its way through a maze of bodies and finds that top corner over the glove of the goaltender. And the Aviators lead 2-0. So Steffi to take the face off. One back comes to Daxon. He feeds it to the far side, gets it to Nicholson, jumps over his stick. Daxon follows it up, keeps in the zone, comes to Nicholson. Nicholson trying to get a shot off, chips one at the net. Berg sends it short side. Steffi with a try. Goaltender made the save without even looking. Here's Kulak again. Shots it on, whistles wide, comes all the way out of the zone. Daxon's going to have to retreat to his own blue line to pick this one up. Lost the handle on that one, tries to send it out. Bouncing puck goes into the corner. Makes a move to get away from one man. Goes behind the net. Lost the puck there. Comes back to Daxon. Lost the handle, picked up by Berg. Berg skates this one out. Berg down the left side. Cuts it to the net, gets around the goaltender. Lost the handle on it. Shots it on. Whistles just by the top of the net. Watford works this one out of the neutral zone. Benson and Charlie now out. Charlie comes over, pokes that one away. Charlie up the wall, feeds it to wide by. Comes loose to Seffi. She tried to get out of his zone, but Watford kept it in. Shots it on. Dom kicks that one into the corner. Picked up by Nicholson on the far side. He'll skate this one out. Cuts it to the middle, brings it in the zone, puts on the brakes, tries to get around the defenseman. Lost the handle on it, but stays with it. Picked up by Wyatt. Caught up in his jersey here. Jordy pushes this one down the corner, but Watford will work it out into the neutral zone. Out of the far side. Misplayed there by Watford, picked up by Shower. Shower skates this one forward. Hands it off to Yana. Yana back to Shower. Shower chips in. He'll chase after this one into the corner. Big hit in the corner. Arm goes up. Not sure what that was for. They're going to say a cross check. I believe that was a little bit of a makeup call here, as Watford was calling for a slash way behind the play. So power play opportunity coming here for Watford for the next 2 minutes. Looks like we're going to face off here on the near side of the Aviators' end. Maybe Iana and Bai out there as forwards. Charlie and Benson at defense. Face off push forward here. Iana trying to get this one out of the zone. Watford's able to keep it in. They'll try to set their power play up here. They send one through the middle. That got tipped out front. It might have hit the post and stayed out. So Watford feeds this one through the middle. Shots in on. Gets blocked by Benson. Stick and goes wide. Comes out to the point. Sent through the middle. That comes all the way over to the near side wall. They work it up to the top of the point. Over the middle. To the far side. Walks it down in. Shots in on. That one rings off the pipe as well. Miedema slides over, trying to force this one out, but Watford's able to keep it in. Yana comes over. Miedema. A couple of players trying to get rid of this puck. Watford with an opportunity here. Backhand sent on, goes wide. About a minute 10 to play here as it comes back to the point. Watford sends it over to the far side. Yana applying the pressure. Shot sent on. That beats Dom over the glove side, and it's a 1-1 game here as Watford strikes on the power play. Or excuse me, 2-1. Watford in control that whole time on that power play. Pretty much the majority of it spent in the Aviators' end. Aviators getting tired. We're going to face off here. One back by Watford City. They'll skate over the red line. Knocked away there by Fiala. Picked up by Blasky. Blasky forces this one out in the neutral zone. Mason Fargo comes over to steal that one away. Blasky trying to find the puck. Watford works this one through the middle. Trying to carve through the defense. Knocked off the puck. Picked up there by Henderson. He's got Fargo to his right. Works it down the left side. Trying to get around the defenseman. Works it towards the net. Trying to get a shot off. Puck comes loose. Shoved from behind. Looks like goaltender finally gets it covered up. And we'll get a face off here. So 10:41 remaining second period. Aviators leading 2-1. Being outshot here by Watford City 19-14 as Fiala line comes out for the Aviators. One back by Mason. Comes to Blasky. Blasky rings it around to the far side. Henderson slides up. Sends a shot on right into the glove of the goaltender. And we'll get a face off far side of the Watford end. Blasky was trying to get there to get either a tip on or get his body in the eyes in front of the goaltender, but just a second too late on there. Fiala wins this one back, gets it to Blasky. Blasky turns, fires right into the belly of the goaltender, and we'll get a face off in the Aviators' end, or excuse me, in the Watford City end. Clock's still rolling. Finally get it stopped here. One controlled by Watford City, but Blasky trying to steal it away. He turns and fires this one down into the zone. Mason Fargo on the attack in the corner. Gets to Fiala. Fiala back to Fargo out front. Fargo sends it back to Daxon. Daxon takes the shot, whips on that one. West Fargo chips it out right to Kulak as he loops around his own end. Takes the look, sends one through the middle. Arm goes up and we'll get an icing. I don't know how that was an icing. Player tried to play with his skate. It went between his legs, but either way, we'll get a face off down in the Aviators' end here. It'll be Seffi to take the face off out there with Nicholson and Berg. Here comes to Kulak. Kulak backhands one around. It'll come up to Berg on the sidewall. Berg loops down, sends one through the middle, gets it to Nicholson. Nicholson tries to chip it over to Seffi. Watford gets control and they'll dump it back down in. Kulak brings it around, gets up to Berg. Berg through the middle, stolen away by Watford. They backhand one down into the corner. This one goes behind the net. Kulak will pick this one up. Feeds one to Berg. Berg trying to get it to Seffi. Watford read that one nicely. Berg takes a boarding here, and the Aviators will go back on the penalty kill. Looks like the refs are going to talk about this one too. This may be a major. We'll have to see what happens here. Is the player slow to get up? The ref was standing right. He put the arm up right away. So we'll see what they decide to do here. They're still talking it over. So 9 minutes, 19 seconds to go here in the second period. Aviators are about to find out how long they're going to lose Berg for. Referees headed over to talk to the coaches. They're opening the door, so I'm assuming Owen is kicked out of the game. So Owen Berg out for the game. So this will be a little longer penalty here for Watford. We should see a 5-minute penalty put up on the board. Still waiting to get clarification. Looks like Nicholson will go into the box to serve the penalty for Owen. Owen has headed off. He'll get changed. So 9 minutes, 19 seconds to go here, second period. Aviators leading 2-1. Shots on goal favoring Watford here, 19-15. Now they'll get a 5-minute power play here to score as many times as they want. We'll get a face-off here in the Aviators' end. So big opportunity here for Watford to at least tie the game, potentially even take the lead, as they will have some time to wear Grand Forks down. They work to the middle, shot sent on, misses wide. Watford City gets a control in the corner. They work it out to the point. Seffi slides up. Watford sends it over to the near side D. They go back and forth. Shot sent on through traffic. That went off of Dom's leg pad into the corner. Picked up by Charlie in the corner. Dumps it out to the point. Watford with control. Works it down low. Goes behind the net. Feeds it up to the point. Seffi done a nice job of defending here. Should have been a tripping there on Seffi, but they get away with it. I would expect the next call to possibly go the Aviators' way. As Watford brings this down, bouncing puck. Charlie keeps it out of the net. Shots it on. That goes off of Dom's face mask. He keeps it out of the back of the net. Still 4 minutes to go here on the major penalty. Watford works the D to D. Shots it on right in the glove of Dom. He holds on, and we'll get a face off. So 8 minutes, 17 seconds to go here, second period. 3:58 still to go on the major penalty. Watford City will have the advantage for nearly 4 more minutes here of this second period. Face off one back by Kulak. He backhands one up to the point. Shot sent on. That one goes wide to the far side. Wide by, forces a turnover. Watford does a nice job to keep it in. Now they turn, fire it into the glove of Dami. Holds on. We'll get a face off. So 8 minutes. Kulak to take the face off. He'll probably be moved up to forward here as it comes just to Wyatt. Tried to backhand one out, but it was rolling on him. Couldn't quite get that one out of the zone, so Watford regains control. They send it through the middle. Shot sent on. Beat Dom open over the shoulder. Dom got a little bit of a shoulder on it, but not quite enough as Watford ties this up on the power play. And the power play will continue for the next 3.5 minutes. So Kulak and By to stay out there at forward. Benson and Norby on defense. Face off one back by the Aviators. Picked up by Benson. Sends it off the glass all the way down, but a quick icing. We'll get a face off down in the Aviators' end. 3 minutes, 28 seconds to go, still on the major penalty. Watford City can score as many times as they like on that. They've already scored once. 7:47 remaining, second period. Face off one back by Watford. So they go D to D. Works it to the middle. Now over to the wing. Shot sent on. That one whistles wide. That'll come out into the neutral zone. Watford will have to retreat down in their own end to get this one. Watford sends it through the middle. Off his skate. Goes down into the corner. Jackson goes behind his own net to pick this one up. Sends it off the glass. Sends it all the way down. This one will come close to going net, but not quite close enough. And we'll get a face-off back down in the Aviators' end. So just under 3 minutes to go still on the power play for Watford. There's a major checking from behind penalty that was called on Owen Berg. About 2 minutes to go, and Watford cashing in once already on the power play here. Shots in on, Dom makes the save on that one, holds on, we'll get a face-off. Fiala to take the face-off, tied up at the dot. Watford digs it out. Yana trying to steal it away. Shots in on, beats Dom over the glove side, and Watford scores again. They take the lead 3-2, their first of the game after Aviators were up to a 2-0 lead, but 3 unanswered, all power play goals for Watford here. And they can just keep scoring. Still 2:45 to go on that major penalty. Fargo to take the face off for the Aviators out there with Blasky. So another penalty coming here. Mason Fargo headed to the box. So 2 minutes of 5-on-3 power play time here for Watford. Picked up by Henderson, goes behind his own net. Cuts it to the middle, trying to get around a couple players. He goes down hard into the corner. Watford keeps it down low, shots in on, hits the side of the net. Another arm goes up, looks like Blasky's gonna get called here. Watford shots it on, that one whistles wide. Picked up by Watford. They send one off a skate, comes over to the near side corner. They try to dump it out to the point. Blasky unable to get there. Watford keeps it down low. Go to the point, they feed it to the far side. 6-on-3 now. Shots in on right into the glove of Dom. He holds on, and we'll get a face-off. Stays 5-on-3. There's 3 players in the box. Still one for 1:23, another one for 2:03, and another one for a full 2 minutes. As Watford will almost finish out this period on the power play. Dug out of the corner here by Steffi. She ties it up. Comes loose. She ties it up again. Watford finally digs it loose. They work it to the middle. They feed it to the point. 5-on-3. Sent through the middle. Tip it out front. Steffi trying to get it out. Watford gets control. They try to send this one out front. Goes behind the net. Works out to the point. To the near side. Shot sent on. Dom makes a save. Pushes the rebound out. Steffi tries to clear it. It'll come out to the blue line, but not out. They work it to the middle. Brought down in. Dom makes a save on that one. Sent out to the point. Works it down. Shots it in right into the glove of Dom. He holds on. We'll get a face-off. So 31 seconds. And we'll get one player out of the box, but it will stay 5-on-3 for another, a minute after that. We'll see how this plays out. 5-on-3. Looks like Shower to take the face off. Henderson and Benson at defense. Shot sent in, beats Dom right off the face off. And Watford scores 3 times already on this 5-minute major penalty and all the other penalties that the Aviators have added to it. 5:26 remaining. Still a 5-on-3 for, I'm guessing, at least another minute. The major's still up there for at least another minute 8. Just a bad period for the Aviators. 2-minute penalties. Watford able to attack this whole time with very little pressure. It's been mainly 5-on-3. Aviators getting outshot 2-1 now, 30-15. They also are getting outscored 2-1 as they trail 4-2 here, with still 5:26 to play in the second period. The refs discussing this, trying to get it all cleared up on who comes out when. Aviators treating this like a timeout as they call everybody in on the bench. 3 players stay out on the ice. The ref's still talking this over. Not sure if they're trying to figure out how to put it up on the board or what they're doing, but still discussing it. Looks like they're ready to go. So now that one penalty's over, it sounds like it's still 2 minutes for Blaski's penalty hasn't even started. As Watford brings us in, lost the hand on that one, trying to stuff it. Jordy Shower comes back to help out his goaltender and steals the puck away. He'll skate this one forward. Got caught up on the boards here. Still trying to dig it out. Henderson comes over to help out. Watford City digs it loose. Knocked away there. Puck bouncing around. Daxon trying to clear it out. Over into the corner. Watford gets on it first. Sent up to the point. Watford trying to pick the Aviators apart here, extending their lead. Watford works it to the point once again. Slides down, shot sent back door. Trying to find the shooter that's sneaking in backside. They work this to the other side. That one rings off the goalpost. Watford works it to the far side. Works it down, shots it on, gets stuffed by Daxon. Pushed out to the blue line. Daxon forces him out, making Watford City have to regroup. Nicholson out of the box. So that's Owenberg's original penalty. Picked up by Henderson. Henderson skates this forward. We're 5-on-4. They're still down a man to get a shot on. Shower gets shoved out front. Arm goes up. Watford taking a penalty. Jordy gets out of there right away so nobody else gets called. Looks like they will just take the Watford player. So 34 seconds still was what was left on the power play for Watford. They take a penalty of their own, so nothing else changes. Aviators should turn. They can kill 34 seconds here. We'll turn this into a minute 26 of power play time. At the very period, they need to try to cut into this deficit. 2 goals here soon as we get ready to take the face off in the Watford end. So 4-on-4 here. In 34 seconds, Aviators will get a man back. That face-off's pushed forward by Kulak. Sent out to the point to Green. Green sends a shot. That blocked by a Watford City defender. Picked up in the corner. Wide sends it back to Green. Green sends one on. Tipped out front. Knocked down. Wide tries to get a shot off. Thought he beat the goaltender through the 5-hole, but he got the legs closed quick enough. And we'll get a whistle here in the Watford City end. So 20 seconds still. A 4-on-4, then the Aviators will have minute 26 of power play time. That one's one off the glass. Watford gets control. It's sent out to the point. Bounces up and over Greener, and back comes Watford City. Miedema. Kulak defending. Kulak chips up the wall. Shoved from behind, pushed out of the zone. It'll go down in the Watford City end. The Aviators back to 5-on-5, so they have a power play here for the next minute 20. Watford skates this one forward down the far side. Brought into the Aviators end, spun away from Kulak. Miedema goes down low. Now over to Greener. Yana trying to steal this one away. Watford turns it back down below the goal line. Picked up by Miedema on the far side, but stolen away by Watford. And they'll just dump it back down in. 50 seconds to go on the power play here for the Aviators. Caught up in the skates of Kulak right in front of us here as he skates this forward and brings it in the zone. Slips away from a couple players, gets a shot off. Got stuffed right away there, and Watford City turns it back. Wyatt comes over, makes a big hit, knocks the player off the puck. Henderson bumps it up to Yana. Yana gets it to Wyatt. Wyatt brings it in, chips and goes around. Wyatt down in the corner, feeds it behind the net over to Fiala. Fiala brings it down low. Spins it up to Benson at the point. Benson works it down low again. Behind the net, feeds it over to Wyatt. Wyatt gets a shot off. Wyatt goes behind the net, backhands one out front. Fiala comes over and steals it away. So 5 seconds left in the power play. Aviators wearing him down here. Shot sent on by Henderson. That stuns a Watford City player. Henderson brings it in once again. Knocked away by a Watford player. Big hit there by Fiala. Comes to Mason Fargo. Fargo with it. Sends it through the middle. That splits everybody. Arm goes up. We'll get an icing call here as Watford killed that penalty and then forces the Aviators to take an icing. Minute 41 to go here in the second period. Watford City leading 4-2. This one sent out front, goes off a skate. Another shot sent on, doesn't make it to the net. Watford City working out of the corner. Stolen away here, picked up by Fiala. Goes behind his own net, cuts it to the middle. Slips around one Watford City player, brings into the zone down the far side. Mason Fargo trying to steal this one away. Now Benson. Kept in though by the Aviators. Big hit there by Blasky. Watford City trying to get this out. That goes off of Fiala's legs. Fiala trying to steal this one. In comes Mason Fargo as well. Big hit there by Mason Fargo. As Fiala spins off the boards, works it in, shots it on. Goaltender makes a save. Blasky pushes it back out front. Blasky with it. Behind the net, trying to get control of this puck. Seffi slides down the wall to try to keep it in. Blasky with a big hit. Seffi trying to get a shot off here. There's one on net, but the goaltender squeezes the arm and holds on. 43 seconds to go here, second period. Aviators coming into the period leading 2-0. But tons of penalty trouble in this second period. Leads to a Watford City scoring 4 times and taking the lead 4-2. We did start on clean ice, so after this period we'll take a short little break as we get some fresh ice. Then Bonnie will come out and clean things up for us. That shot center gets stopped. Here's Kulak. Seffi trying to get the rebound on a wide open net, but nicely defended by a Watford City defender. And they force it down to the Aviators' end. Push down into the corner. Forced out front. There's a shot set on right in the stomach. Down goes on, and we get a face-off. 25 seconds to go here in this second period. Seffi's line out there for the Aviators. Push forward by Miedema. Gets it to Kulak. Kulak sends one off the glass. This one sent down. Looks like it will not go for icing. We got about 15 seconds to play here. Watford City trying to stretch it out. Kulak steals away. He'll skate this one forward. Gets it over the blue line. Sends a shot on. That one goes wide. Picked up by Miedema along the boards. tries to feed one to the middle, rolls in on the goaltender, he holds on. And that is the end of this second period. So a 4-2 lead here for Watford City as we head to the break. Aviators got some work to do here in the third period, but hopefully you can join us for the third period. It should be an exciting one. Just to give you folks a little update, we are having some Zamboni troubles. He is dead in the water out there in the middle of the ice. Unfortunately, water on the ice, and right where that box is on the back end by his feet, the friction of that gets pretty hot, also from the hot water as well. But that thing is melting right into the ice right now. So even once they get this fixed, they're going to have to put some attention to that spot on the ice, because there's going to be a nice indentation there. So looks like we might just be out of propane. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update what's going on. It may be another 10-15 minutes or so before they get things going again. All right, another quick little update. We have switched to the other rink. That Zamboni's going to be stuck on that ice for quite some time until they get it figured out, get it started and running again. So we're just waiting for both teams to come back out on the ice here, which should be very, very soon. The refs are getting the nets set in place, so just making sure each team gets the memo. They should be taking the ice here very shortly, and we'll get this third period underway. So a quick update. Both teams should be coming out here very soon. It's a 4-2 lead for Watford City as we get ready for the third period. We're at Zamboni break there, but Zamboni broke down on the other sheet of ice, so we have moved over to the Judd side. See if this pushes any games back later on. If anything happens with our game for this afternoon. Looks like the Aviators did take a penalty. It must have been unsportsmanlike. At the end of that period, as there's a 2-minute penalty up on the board for the Aviators. Looks like Benson will be the guilty party there. So Aviators starting a period off down a man. They trail by 2. Watford scoring all of their goals on the power play. Aviators spending well over 3/4 of that second period in the box. Watford capitalizing on all their power play time. Storming back in this one, leading this game by 2 as we head to the third. Still waiting on the Aviators to come out of the box. Watford is on the ice, getting stretched out. Aviators nowhere to be found at the moment. All right, Aviators are out on the ice now, getting warmed up. All right, just getting things stretched out here. We'll get ready for this third period. Aviators trailing by 2. It's 4-2 Watford City. So we get ready to start the third period here. Watford City out shooting the Aviators 31-20. A lot of that due to the extended power play time they had in the second period. They'll start this third period on the man advantage as well for 2 minutes. Benson, I believe, being called for an unsportsmanlike. Must have said something to the ref at the end of that period. So Aviators starting down a man. Jordy looks like he'll take face off. Yana will be the other winger. Miedema and Daxon on defense. Shower. Tied up at the dot, controlled by Watford City. They'll skate this one forward, bring it into the Aviators end down the near side. They feed it to the middle, defended nicely there by Yana. Comes on the thick of Jordy. Shower. Shower to the middle, gets it to Yana. Yana lost the handle on that one. Trying to steal this one back. Watford City able to chip this one out. Daxon will go over the other side, picks it up, skates this one forward with some speed. Cutting down the middle, trying to get a shot off, gets twisted up. Puck goes in the corner. Yana trying to steal this one back. About a minute 25 left on the power play here for Watford City. They feed it through the middle. Now down in the Aviators end, shots in on that one, goes high and wide. It'll ring all the way out to the point. Watford keeps it in. Setting up the power play, working off the sidewall. Now back out to the top. Shots in on through traffic, blocked away by Dom. Picked up by Watford City. Shots in on. Defended by Daxon. There went up and off the stick and out of play. So we'll go to face off in the far side of the Aviators end here. With about 59 seconds left of power play time here for Watford City. Wide body to take the face off. He has Seffi out there with him. Greener and Henderson on defense. Watford City works it to the point. Now down low, back out top to the far side. Looking for opportunities. White putting the pressure on. Seffi now comes out. Shots in on, glove by Dom. He holds on and we're going to face off. So 38 seconds left on the power play here. 15:37 remaining in the game. Aviators trail by 2. Wide to take the face off. Puck one back, picked up by Greener. Sends it off the wall, trying to get up to Seffi. Watford keeps control of it. They'll send it to the far side. They work it down. Trying to find confusion out in front of the net. They send it to the middle. Shot sent on, blockered away there by Dom. Watford with it still. 15 seconds on the power play. They work it to the far side. Sent down. Shot sent to the backside. Whistles wide. It comes out to the point. About 6 seconds to go here. They work it to the middle. Trying to slip around. Backhand sent on. Back door. Dom got caught. Watford City finds the back of the net, and they make this one 5-2. Well, another power play goal for Watford City. Aviators back 5-on-5. Fiala's line comes out for the Aviators. He's got Blasky to his left, Mason Fargo to his right. Miedema and Benson on defense. Face off one to the near side. Miedema slides up. Watford City pushes it into the Aviators' end. Benson pushes this one to Fargo. Off of his stick. Watford steals it away. They spin, dump it out into the neutral zone. Picked up by Benson. Benson slips away from one man. Skates this one forward. Feeds it to the middle. Gets it to Blasky. Bouncing puck. Picked up by Fargo here off of his stick. Now Miedema sends one towards the net. That one whistles to the far side. Benson's going to slide down, try to keep it in. Fargo backs him up. Is able to push it back down below the goal line. Picked up by Watford. They skate this one up, but not out. Comes to Fargo. He sends one down low. He picked up by Fiala in the far side corner. Sends that one off the side of the net. Puck loose out in front. Comes loose to Watford City, and they'll skate this one out into the neutral zone. Dumped in, but high up off the the ceiling. We get a whistle here. We'll get a face off. Looks like it's center ice, or maybe just outside the zone here. So Seffi's line comes out for the Aviators. She'll take the face off. She has Kulak and Nicholson with her. Henderson and Greener on defense. Steffi pushes that one up the wall, gets the Kulak. He centers it, but a little bit too far for Nicholson. And Watford City tries to turn this one back into the Aviators' end. Knocked off Watford's stick. They'll force this one down into the zone, picked up by Henderson. Henderson sends one through the middle, finds Nicholson. Comes there to Steffi. They bring it into the zone, hand it off to Kulak. Kulak sends a shot on. That one rings all the way around and come out to Greener. He'll push it back down low. Nicholson grabs it behind the net, gives it back to Steffi. Centering pass. Watford City steals that one away and back out in the neutral zone. Sent through the middle here. Watford feeds it to the middle. Shots and on. Dom makes this save. Cleared out by Henderson. He'll skate this one forward. Down the left side. Into the zone. Leans into it. Gets the puck stolen away, but stays with it. Grabs it behind the net. Feeds it out front. Finds Shower. Shower tried to get a shot off, but it got partially blocked. Watford chips this one out to the blue line, but not out. Wyatt trying to keep that one in. Lost an edge, though. And Watford City will push it down into the Aviators' end. Benson defending. Picks this one up. Has some room. Skates this one forward. Works it to the middle. All the way around the defenseman. Down goes Benson into the corner. He got tripped up there. I don't know why there was no call on that. Benson can't quite get control of this puck. Looks like we're getting a penalty here to Watford City, so the Aviators going on a power play. Oh, 12:32 to go here. Third period. Watford City leading 5-2. Aviators looking to get back into this game. They have a man advantage here for the next 2 minutes. One back by Watford City. They send one off the wall, comes up to the point, they chip it out. This one will go down into the Aviators' end. Wyatt and Dax will chase after it, but looks like it'll go for icing. So we'll head back down into the Watford end for an offensive zone face-off here on the power play. Caden Yana takes the face-off, wins it over the sidewall, gets the wide by. He gets bumped behind the net, stays with it though. Watford City rings it, comes out to the blue line, comes to Daxon. Daxon sends one down low, trying to hit Wyatt. Here's Shower. Shower sends a shot on. Rebound comes out to Yana. Yana backhands one to Daxon. Daxon tries to fire one in. That one's blocked. Then Benson. That one goes in up off the ceiling. So we'll get a face-off here. I believe in the zone, went off of a Watford City player, so it should stay in the zone. They'll send out Fiala's line. He'll have Mason Fargo and Ryder Blesky with him. Henderson and Miedema will be the defensemen. Face up, tied up at the dot. Blasky gets to Henderson. Henderson shots in on. That one rings off the crossbar. Picked up by Fiala. Sends it down low, gets it to Fargo. Fargo back to Fiala. Set things up, looking for the cross-ice pass. Comes down to Fargo. Fargo feeds it over to Blasky. Blasky loops around, hands it off. Actually, Blasky will take it. Feeds it over to Henderson. Was played. Henderson rolls away from one check. Works it down into the corner. Henderson goes behind the net. 52 seconds to go here on the power play. Feeds it over to Blasky. Blasky misplayed. Comes out in the neutral zone. Aviators got to regroup here. Henderson sends one in on net. Goaltender holds on until some Aviators get close enough, and then we get a whistle. So 39 seconds here. Left to play. 11 left in the period. Aviators trailing by 3. It's 5-2 Watford City. Seffi to take the face off. Bouncing puck dug out by Kulak. Kulak goes behind the net. Looks to set things up. Feeds it back to Miedema. Miedema back to Kulak. Bouncing puck out front. Seffi pushes one towards the net. Picked up by Kulak. He kicks it over into the far side corner. 25 seconds to go on the power play. Feeds it back to Benson. Benson shot through traffic, whistles up and over the net. Nicholson trying to dig it out behind the net here. Tied up. Seffi comes over. She'll steal it. Stuff attempt. Goaltender gets the leg down. Another shot at it. Puck loose. Seffi trying to push it towards the net. Picked up by Watford. They ring it over the near side. About 3 seconds left to go on the power play. Watford gets control. Their player comes out of the box here. Back they come down into Aviators' end. So another penalty killed off here by Watford City. Seffi trying to get control now. Miedema feeds it forward, trying to hit Nicholson, but that splits everybody and goes down for icing. And we'll reset back down in the Aviators' end with 10:16 to play. We're back to 5-on-5. And Watford City has a 3-goal lead as they lead 5-2. Looks like Wyatt to take the face off. He's out there with Caden Yana and Jordy Shower. Daxon and Easton, the defenseman, pushed out to the point. Daxon chases after this one. Trying to get control of that puck as this is brought forward, picked up by Wyatt. Wyatt skates it in, spins away, tries to backhand one up front. Watford City defends that one. They bring it around to the near side. Comes loose to Jordy. Jordy hands it off to Easton. Easton shot. Caden Yana tried to get a stick on it, but it whistled all the way through. Come off the back wall. Daxon stops that one. Dumps it back in. That goes off. A goaltender, but it was going to be offsides regardless. Turn it back down low. Going back after this one. Down low, gets it to Shower. Puck comes loose. Watford City collects it, and they'll skate it out into the neutral zone. Working on Easton and Daxon. Down into the far side corner. They feed it out to the point. Looks like it'll come out in the neutral zone, forcing Watford City to go offsides there. And we'll get a face-off just in front of the Aviators bench. We got just over 9 minutes to play in this third period. Fiala's line comes out for the Aviators. One back comes to Henderson. Henderson skates this one forward, then loops back. Sends it over to Benson. Benson back to Henderson. Henderson through the middle. Gets it over to Fargo. Fargo trips it forward. Gets it to Blasky. Tipped off of his stick. Arm up, though. Looked like Blasky touched it, but I guess not. They're going to say icing. And we're going to set up back down in the Aviators' end here for a face-up. Fiala to take the face off for the Aviators, tied up at the dot. Fargo comes in, digs it out, skates it forward. Blasky peels it, bring it in the zone. Fargo works it down low. Feeds it out to Henderson. Henderson shot through traffic. Goaltender makes the save. Picked up by Fargo. Tries to feed it out front. Henderson slides down the wall to try to keep it in. This one will be pushed down into the Aviators' end. Looks like it'll come in right on Tom. He'll feed it up to Benson. Benson back to the near side to Blasky. Blasky chips off the wall, gets it to Fiala, but a little bit too far for him. Stolen away here, brought in by Mason Fargo down the left side. Uses the ref as a screen, tries to stuff that one in. Puck short there. Looks like the net's off. We get a whistle, and we'll get a face-off here in the Watford City end. So 8 minutes and 14 seconds left here in the third period. Aviators trailing by 3. The 5-2 lead here for Watford City. They lead in the shot department as well, 33-23. Aviators looking to get on the board here soon. Next goal will be a very, very big one for either team. Here's Seffi trying to feed the point. Stopped by Watford City. Back they come. 3-on-2. Charlie and Daxon, the defenders. On the near side. Shots at the point. Stolen away here by Steffi. She kicks it forward, trying to get it up to Nicholson. Still not out of the Aviators' end. Daxon takes it away, feeds it up to Nicholson. Off of his stick, Watford City regains control. Back down to the Aviators' end, picked up by Steffi. Steffi slips away from one check, but Watford's able to push it down in the Aviators' end. Charlie will chase after this one. Backhands one off the wall. Gets it to Seffi. To the middle. Got her pocket picked. Watford City able to dump it back down in. It'll be the near side corner picked up by Daxon here. He'll skate this one forward. Brings it into the zone. Trying to get around the defenseman. Lost the handle on that one. Tried to feed it up front. Poking this one away. Comes loose to Nicholson. Nicholson's stuff attempt gets stopped. Now Shower. Watford City out into the neutral zone. They'll go for a change. They elect to just dump this one in. It'll come to the near side to Daxon. Daxon trying to send it back over to Charlie, but a little bit too late. Gets stuffed by Watford City. Daxon will chip this one up the wall, but Watford comes over and seals that off. Comes out to the point. Looks like it'll come out in the neutral zone here. Picked up by Jordy. There's Wyatt and Caden joining him, but Watford's able to dump it out as the Aviators are going for a change. Trying to get around Benson. Nice job of defending. Set in on Dom. He covers that one up, holds on, and we'll get a face-off. Still a 3 lead and 4 on the wall, but comes loose to Jordy. Sends it up to Caden, but jumps over his stick. Watford City gains control. They send it through the middle. They'll bring this one into the Aviators' end. Shots in on, goes off of Easton's stick up into the netting above. And we'll get a face-off here in the Aviators' end. Oh, face-off coming. Aviators win it back. Easton pushes it up. Fiala chips it out all down. Blasky will chase after it. Watford City will get there first. They go behind the net. They try to send one off the wall. Bouncing puck comes out to the top of the zone. Now out in the neutral zone. This one's sent in on Dom. Goes just wide of him. He lets it go, and we get an icing call. Oh, face-off coming here in the Watford City end on the near side. Under 6 minutes to play. Fiala to take the face-off for the Aviators. One over to the side wall. Blasky dump. Trying to feed this one out front. That went off the inside foot of the goaltender, but somehow stayed out of the net. Watford tries to chip this one out. It comes up to Easton Green. He keeps it in. Pushes it down along the wall. Dug out by Fiala. Blasky hit the ice there. It's fed out to Benson. Shots in on. That one whistles it just high and over the net. Puck loose out front. Comes to Greener. Greener shots in on. Stuff attempt. Fargo cannot get out of out front there. Here's Benson. Shots in on. Puck's clean that one up, and Watford City turns it back out in the neutral zone. Benson backhands one into the zone. Should have been an offsides. Comes bouncing in on the defenseman. Watford City picks it up. They work it through the middle. Carving through the defense, defended by Greener. Shots in on, right in the stomach of Dom. Holds on. Puck loose, though. Comes over to the sidewall. Watford City feeds it over to the D on the far side. Shot in on Dom. Makes the glove save. Holds on. We'll get a face-off. So 4:51 remaining here. Aviators still trailing by 3. Lots of work to do. Need to get going right about now to give themselves a chance. Seffi's line comes out for the Aviators. Nicholson and Kulak with her. Henderson and Miedema on defense. This one skated forward by Henderson. Henderson down the far side, works it to the middle. Trying to get through everybody. Gets it down into the corner. Forces it out to Seffi. Seffi shot on through traffic. Bouncing puck. Lewis, goaltender, turns back and is able to get a glove on it before Kulak could poke that one into the empty net. So we're going to face off here in the Watford City end. 4.5 minutes to play. Aviators pulling the goalie out of the net. 4.5 minutes to play. They'll go 6-on-5. They win one over the near side wall. It comes out to Miedema. Miedema sends it down low. It comes to Kulak. Kulak sends one all the way to the far side. He gets bumped off the puck. Shower comes over to help out. Feeds it over to Kulak. Kulak one-timer. Whiffed on. Down into the corner. Picked up by Nicholson. Back to Kulak. Nicholson out of the corner. Trying to work it out front. Stuff attempt there. Gets blocked away back into the corner. Minima slides up trying to keep this puck in. Looks like he'll be successful. Comes loose to Seffi. Seffi sends one down to Nicholson. Loose puck. Seffi trying to grab this one back. Watford City gets it. They're going to dump this one down. It'll go all the way for icing as the clock ticks just under 4 minutes. We got 3:55 to play here, third period. Aviators down by 3, but pulling the goalie, going with the extra skater here, trying to cut into this lead. Yana to take the face off, wins that one forward. Watford City gains control. They try to chip behind the net, but stolen away by Blasky. Sent up the sidewall. Watford trying to dump this one down. They send it down. It looks like it'll go well wide of the net. So an icing called, and we'll head back down into the Aviators end, or excuse me, the Watford City end. It'll be K.I., Jordy, Shower, Ryder Blasky, Benson, and Daxon on defense. Face off onto the sidewall. Wide tried to feed back to Benson. Benson was able to keep it in, but Watford works this one out. They chip it through the middle. Caught up. Should have been offsides there. Not sure how that wasn't called. Benson defending the net. He comes over and picks this one up, sends one through the middle. Almost picked off. Picked up by Shower. This is jersey got tugged there. Not sure how that wasn't a hold. Picked up by Benson. 3.5 minutes to play. Down by 3. Empty net. Right out to the middle. Watford picks it up. They backhand one over to the far side. Aviators trying to steal this puck away. It comes loose. Watford is able to chip it out. Sent all the way down. They say he touched it. Picked up by Daxon. Daxon rings it around. It'll come to Blasky. Off of his stick comes forward to Yana. Yana brings him into the zone. He gets swallowed up right away. Watford gathers this one up. They're going to try to feed this one forward. Now they have an open, empty net backhanded in. They find the back of the net and make this a 6-2 game. Oh, 2:55 to play here still, but a 4-goal lead for Watford City as they get an empty net goal here to extend their lead in this third period. Face off, push forward. This one will roll on Dom. He'll push it off to Henderson. Henderson skates it forward with some speed down the near side. Works it to the middle. The outside, shots it on. Stuff attempt there. Shots it on. It was originally tipped by Mason Fargo. Goaltender made the original save, but Mason able to get another whack at it. Finds the back of the net. It makes this a 6-3 game with 2:39 to play. Fiala's line will stay out there. Fiala to take the face off. Face off one to the near side here, picked up by Watford City. They send it in the zone. It goes off of Charlie. Charlie backhands one over to Henderson. Henderson feeds it up to Fargo. Fargo brings it into the zone. Chips him down in the corner. Going to pick it up is Blasky behind the net. He feeds it over in the corner. They dump one out as the Aviators were getting their next man on the ice. Taken down there. It was Kulak. Watford City with control. Brought in offsides there by Fiala, and we'll get a face-off. 2:09 to go here. 3-goal deficit. The Aviators are trying to erase here. They have an empty net again. It'll be Fiala, Blasky, Fargo, and Kulak as the forwards. Henderson and Minima as the defensemen. Over the near side, one back. Charlie stretches it over to Kulak. Kulak brings it in, sends one through the middle. There comes to Fiala. Fiala sends a shot on. Goaltender makes a big save on that one. Keeps that one in the corner. Sent out to the point. Picked up by Henderson. Watford turns. Fires. Tries to dump one on net. Minima chase after it down below his goal line here. Sent through the middle. That one comes all the way up to Kulak. Kulak brings it in the zone. Makes a move around the defenseman. Down in the corner. Hands it off to Fiala. Fiala with it. Pushes it down in the corner. Ooh. Big hit there, like a penalty coming to the Aviators. Not sure. Looks like they're taking 2 Aviators. Looks like it'll be Mason Fiala and Jace Kulak both headed to the bench. Now they're going to talk this one over. Got a minute 28 here remaining in the game. Aviators riddled with penalties all game. Did well in the first period. Second period started though. Spent 3/4 of that in the penalty box. We're trying to get back into this game as they were trailing by 3, but now looks like they're giving all the momentum back to Watford here for the final minute 28, as it will be 5-on-3. So we're going to face off here in the Aviators' end. Either way, the way it sits, it'll be power play through the rest of the game here for Watford City, and a 2-man advantage at that. Sent over to the near side. Worked in, shots it on, blocked by Benson. Steals this one away, he skates this one down. Behind the defense. Nice defensive play there by the defenseman. So it'll still be a man advantage for Watford City, but not a 2-man advantage. It'll just be a 1-man advantage here for the next minute 9 seconds. Not sure what they're talking about here. They're letting the player just argue with him. Just delaying this game even more. We're already over our time limit. Teams lined up at the door on both ends, ready to come out for this next game. So 4-on-3 here, still a man advantage for Watford City. Only a minute 9 left in the game. Watford City leads by 3. It's 6-3. Comes back to Daxon. Shots it on. Goaltender makes a save. Picked up by Seppi behind the net. She sends one off the side of the cage. Comes loose. Watford City will skate this one forward. Daxon chases it down in his own zone. He gets hooked up. Watford City works it out front. Leg save there by Dom. Picked up by Seppi. She skates it forward, trying to get through 3 Watford City players. Works it to the front of the net, shots it on, goaltender makes the save. And we're going to face off here in the Watford end. Only 36 seconds to go, and Aviators still trailing by 3. Seppi to take the face off. Watford City gets control. Back they come, 2-on-2. Daxon and Benson, the defenseman. Watford City trying to twist them up. Works it out to the point. They have the man advantage here. Sent down the sidewall. Sent through the middle. Stolen away by Benson. Benson works it to the outside. Brings it down in. About 15 seconds to play here. Third period. Benson brings it in. Down below the goal line. Below the net here. Loops around. Slips it over to Daxon. Daxon sends it off the wall down to Nicholson. Nicholson with it. Into the corner. About 2 seconds to play. And that is the end of this one. Aviators falling 6-3 to Watford City here. Getting outshot heavily. Spending way too much time in the penalty box. They'll have to clean up their act as they take on Grafton this afternoon at 1:30. Hopefully you can join us for that one. I have it up on the Facebook page, or you can go right to the YouTube page and follow that link however you want to do it. Either way, we appreciate you joining us, and we will see you guys next time.